this area where we were hunting, we were still able to find some deer, but it was definitely down. And then it went back up like 2018 through 2020, the numbers were really solid again. And that was crazy because Montana, you could get 8 doe tags, which I thought was absolutely stupid. I'm like, why in the world are they allowing people to do this? We would never, sometimes we might get 2, um, but they were selling so many tags. Thought it was just absurd. And now the last 3 years, it's been terrible. The numbers have been like absolutely terrible. Um, this year was probably the toughest year we ever had out there of just seeing, because I would sit up on a knob and just glass for miles and miles where I'm used to, like, even if they're a mile away, it's fun to see deer. Hey, there's 15 over there. And it would be like, okay, I saw 4 deer tonight. This is not normal. It's not good.
Yeah. What about the locals? When you go out there and you're in a valley from a quantity standpoint, and when I mean valley, I mean like peaks and valleys of deer numbers. What are the locals saying is the result of low deer numbers?
Um, EHD or blue tongue is probably one of the biggest drivers, that I know they've been hit pretty hard the last few years, or especially not 2 years ago. I think they were hit pretty hard. That's probably the biggest thing I'll hear from locals will be blue tongue gets blamed for the low volume. And then the 8 tags too. That was something that a lot of people didn't like that. And myself as a non-resident, I'm like, it's just like, what in the world are we doing here? Why would we allow someone to buy 8 tags?
Yeah. Well, and I think what you see is it takes a handful of years for regulations to adjust on low numbers because the DNR and whoever comes up with the tag allocations, I'm sure they can't just go up to one hunter or a handful of hunters and go, tell me what you saw. And they're going to be, it was horrible. Okay, well, we're going to use that information to adjust. It probably takes a handful of years for that to happen. And by then, if you're a good hunter and when you have low numbers and you're still filling 8 tags,
Right.
there's someone
Yep.
filling 8 tags, then you can do that. Like you're going to see a big dip,
Yeah.
especially if you have good hunters in low numbered areas. And so, what was that in like conjunction with a bad winter or winter kill or that you can remember? Because I hear
Yeah.
out west, I hear EHD and winter kill are some of the biggest threats.
Yeah, I think 2020 was a really bad winter. 21 was a really bad winter. So yeah, I think the blue tongue, the bad winter, and then drought too can be a major factor as well. And that's probably if I'm sharing advice with, hunters who might be going out there, like the honey hole that we found, like the spot that we keep going back to year after year after year, and we always fill our tags, even when it's like this year was the worst numbers, we still filled all of our tags. Like we're hunting by a river. And that river never dries up. There's always water. There's a lot of dried up creeks out there that don't have water, but the river that we're on, there's always deer around there, and we're always able to fill the tags. So, but I think droughts definitely play a major factor, in just in the herd health, and then even if you're going after bucks, antler size too. That definitely can play a toll on that.
Yeah. Um, when you go out there now, are you going out for bucks or is it still like all of these trips in the last 20 times you've been out there? Has it always been like a freezer filling mission?
The last mostly bucks now for
Okay.
me. So I'll still normally there will be 4 of us that go. I think like we've been out there with as many as like 8 or 9 people, which is pretty
Yep.
fun, but it gets to be chaos.
Yeah.
So now my ideal size is like me and 3 other guys. So normally it's me, my dad, my cousin, and his kid has been the last couple of years. And so normally one of us will have a buck tag. This last year we had 2 buck tags because my cousin's kid. This is pretty cool. If you have a kid, you can get like an up and coming hunter tag for like half the price. So his kid
Nice.
gets a buck tag for like $300. So normally it'll be like 1 buck and then 3 does, or you can get a surplus doe tag or something. So that's the general plan.
Gotcha.